Yo. Well, this is a little test here. I don't know if this will work. Just installed a app called Camera AMX. MX is capitalized. I've noticed none of these camera apps can actually switch the camera view from front to back while I'm recording, which is really unfortunate. I'm not sure why that would be. I realize they are different cameras and could have a different resolution, but that can get figured out. So today's an amazingly great day. I have a massive fire going that started this morning, and I'm just burning tons of wood that I have laying around all over the forest. So it actually cleans stuff up a little bit, although the fungus would eat it anyway. I'm doing that to warm this house up. It was a cold day yesterday, and I'm still recapturing this whole building from mice and bats and stuff. I think I've won against the bats. I haven't actually seen a bat yet. However, there is another difficult enemy up here. It's a frenemy. It's bees, honeybees, and I like them. These are pretty aggressive ones, and they're living in a roof right here on the house. So I've got a fire going over here, right? And I've been putting a bunch of stuff on the fire to see what happens. Here, I'll show you something fun. The idea is to bother the bees so they move out. I won a long time ago. I won against them. Here, watch this. That's a substance like WD-40. I have a can of it so I can fix locks and stuff and things that get stuck. That's just fun. That doesn't do anything to smoke that's real special. But I have put in there so far a whole bunch of semi-wet leaves to make it smoky. Right now it's not very smoky, right? But this has been billowing smoke before. I put on some, goddamn bee, fuck off. The bees are extremely upset. They're very, very upset right now. And I'm happy about that. I want them to get so angry that they move out. And they could. You know, if I keep burning hot fires in here, because this chimney goes up by the spot in the roof where they live, and so I'm making it too hot for them. And I can do that at night. I can ruin their nights by stacking this up with firewood. And we can put smoke in the mornings. We can put smoke in all day, really, in this case. Uh-oh, fire fell apart. I also put on this fire, I put on some cooking oil to see what would happen. You know, different oils have a smoke point, and I don't think cooking oil is going to bother them that much, but whatever, vegetable oil. I put in there some hot pepper flakes that I had that were pretty old anyway, and it did smell like hot peppers. In the past, I've bought small dried peppers, and we burned those in spots to get rid of bats. We want to bother the bats, and that has worked. It has not been easy. Like there was a place where there was hundreds of bats, and that wasn't good. So, yeah, they're just flying around like crazy. They've only got one entry right now. They used to have a number of them. One of them was upwards. I don't like getting stung by bees very much. It doesn't bother me that much, but I prefer it not happen. The most I've ever been stung at one time was about 10 times, all in the head and on the neck. There was a pissed off beehive that a procession of people and music and noise bothered them enough that they attacked the people. They attacked everyone there. I never even saw the nest, I think. I might have seen it, but I was very distracted getting the hell away from there, as was everybody else. People were just running away. Apparently a few people went to the hospital. This wasn't here. This was at a local event out in the forest, though. So what else is going on? Well, I'm still trying to clean up this space. It's really a great space to be in. It feels wonderful to be here. But yesterday I made a big trip up to the lodge to get a whole bunch of stuff that I had left up there. I've still got more up there that I want to get down here. You know, I bought some snacks a while ago. I don't know what else I brought down here. Tools and charger objects and lighting. And there's a stinky fire out there, though, of all the shit I put on it. Well, the fire bin that I'm using is actually just half of a barrel, and it doesn't have very good ventilation. So when it fills up with ashes, it stops working. And so what we need to do is take a circular cutter thing, and we need to cut air holes in the bottom of that. Of course, ashes will fall out of it, but who cares? That's just fine. Be nice if we had a barrel within a barrel that let a lot of airflow into the bottom part, but the fire was in the inner part. And so the inner part didn't ever clog up, but then stuff also didn't fall out the sides. That's a little complex for here, but it could be done. I'm looking around for what else I can burn around here, especially anything noxious. I do have these chlorine pills that I used in a cistern, and this is noxious. Chlorine is a fairly toxic poison. I think I'll put a pill of that on there and see what happens to it. I also do have some liquid chlorine that would likely, very likely, get into the smoke a lot, right? That vapor, that's all vapor up there. I don't want to blow myself up, so I have been a little concerned about that. All right, we'll take this little bleach pill. I'll stick it. God damn it, it fell in. I'll get the other one. I want to see it kind of melt on the top in some cases, or burn, or do whatever it's going to do. Now, this is probably not recommended. This is probably not ecologically smart. But, you know, I'm trying to work on a long-standing problem here that's been a fight for 17 years. Usually one I've just given up on. There we go. See that? That nice little bleach pill in there. I'm going to stand back here and see what happens to it. Wonder what happened to the one that's inside there. You said I really want to get in the smoke if I'm specifically trying to make, that one is down there is melting. So I definitely don't want to be in that smoke anymore. And then the wind keeps changing direction. So not all of this smoke is even going right up towards the bees. The bees are way high up. That's a ladder right there. And that's so that when we've beaten them down a little bit, right? I'm not sure what we can do, but I know that getting in there is a very dangerous thing. We can do it early in the morning when they're kind of sleeping. It's too cold out for them. And so one of these days we're going to do, as early as possible in the morning, is we're going to climb up this ladder and then block that entry up with anything we can. I don't know. I have some poisons, like for flies and stuff like that, insecticides. I don't have either spray bottle, and we did a long time ago, before we finally won for some years, right? We got them out of here. But eventually they just moved back in, and I was busy with doing other things. And so, you know, God damn, it's a beautiful day out here. Other than that, well, I'm trying to hook up electric to different spots, trying to hook up Wi-Fi to different spots. But like a cable that I used to use for that is both stuck behind, well, it's kind of behind some bookshelves. And then it also routes way out to the outside world. And a wireless thing out here would be astounding, because I just had to try to have a meeting with someone, and I had my external monitor set up and everything so that he could see what I see on my screen, and we can talk about it better and explore better, a very responsive discussion, and then I can take notes and we can record what we said. That's a bright idea. Let's see, let's check on this chlorine tablet. The one on top is actually melting and bubbling currently. So whatever it is, it's releasing something toxic, and it might not be smoke. It might be a scary vapor that's just invisible within this. In which case, if the wind comes over here, I should get out of the way, right? Yeah. What else am I up to? I have a few bags of dog food, 2, I believe, and the puppy's fine. I took her stitches out. She had stitches in her belly from getting sterilized, and that was, I don't have any problem taking stitches out. You know, I can do that real easy, but with one person, with a wiggly puppy who's not used to, you know, being messed with in a medical way, it was kind of difficult, actually. I'm going to close this door, and I'll keep the puppy in here while this scary bleach pill, it's still melting. Come on in here. Let's go inside. Inside. Look, I've got stuff. What's that? Oh, what's this? Oh, is this a fun stick? Look at the stick. That worked. Manipulating puppies. It's a good thing. It's for her own good. Increasingly, she knows what to do, what not to do. I've got her blanket here by the fireplace. And so she's getting used to sitting on the blanket. Sometimes when she's bored, she'll go sit up there. I've been giving her little snacks on it. So she realizes that's kind of her space. And so when I kick her off the chair, I don't want her on my lap, then she can go sit on her cool blanket. Also, even if I let the fire go out at night, right? It probably won't go all the way out because there's always coals the next day, and they last. I've had coals in 2 days. I've had coals still, because sometimes a piece of a log is just sitting there smoldering. And that's not too bad, especially for her, because even at night, she likes to sleep as close to me as possible currently. But even at night, she's got a warmer place to be. I wouldn't mind if my bed was near this fireplace, because this has a lot of thermal mass. This is a Rumsford fireplace. And with this amount of thermal mass, it retains the heat really well. And it's just all rock, so it doesn't heat up or cool down real quick. But that's one reason, if you were to build a building like this, to somehow pump heat inside the envelope of the building. And I know how to do that. This building is too hard to retrofit, really, I think. There's things that could be done, but I'd rather just design something with all these energy systems in mind, with a composting toilet spot, because like right around here, it's difficult to just add on a composting toilet. I don't know where I would do it at. There's just a lot of stuff around it. There's terraces and there's utility stuff and a nice sitting spot, and there's just a wide variety of stuff out there. So, what are you playing with? Is it a bug? What kind of bug is that? That's a weird looking bug. Oh, it's a moth. It's an injured moth. I wonder if it went too close to the fire. Okay, that's fine. You can play with it. You still don't know what the camera is, do you? It's not a threat. It's not a gun. It does shoot. It shoots people. But it's not a gun. All right. Well, yeah. So what else is up? I'm figuring out still how to organize for the future and writing up grandiose notions. But of course, grandiose notions are difficult. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love this chair. My only other comfortable chair like this is up at the View, and it has been ripped up by an angry dog. It wasn't my dog. Electric's still difficult. The electrical system was down at 9.4 as the sun was coming up. And that's the lowest I've ever seen it. Maybe it got 9.1 the other night, I forget. But basically the batteries are essentially dead. At this point, they can power Wi-Fi. And if I turn almost anything else on, including charging a phone, then everything dies. I do have one Wi-Fi thing up in another building that is plugged in, and it should not be because no one's up there using it. So all these problems go away. What running out of electricity has also taught me is that running Wi-Fi itself is not energy cost expensive. So if people have their own batteries and stuff, get it. It's a dangerous moth. Oh, that poor moth. It's getting away. Get it. Good girl. She was just playing with it really cutely. Well, she's not playing with it. She's murdering it. I don't think the moth would agree that this is a really fun game. So, firewood we're going to collect from everywhere. A lot of tons of dry firewood. A lot of it already cut, just laying around. So no problem. Been reading about a lot of weird stuff online. Stuff that would, tools for projects, whether they be virtual or not. Still want to create a virtual world of the Bosque. I still want to have ways that people can use a GPS here, and people who are on site can be doing things and broadcasting things. People off site might enjoy looking at that, being a virtual part. ¿Cómo queda? Sí, entonces hay que cortar muchísimos ramas para limpiarlo.
Andamos cortando las ramas de los pinos.
Ok. Los pinos y después los encinos blancos. Entonces va a ser muchos. Pero va a ser leña y podemos colectar. Tengo una pregunta. Yo te pregunté antes. Para cortar leña seco es igual por la motosierra y por la cantidad de trabajo que mojado, fresco y seco. Hay diferencia para cosechar, por ejemplo, leña después, si vamos a dejar el árbol, o debemos cortarlo cuando es fresco y después colectarlo.
No importa, de todos modos vas a cortarlo.
Sí, pero no es diferente por la cadena.
No,
Ok.
pues nomás en cuestiones de tener filo,
Siempre tener filo, pero en cualquier caso.
en cualquier caso.
Ok. No va a ser menos filo con seco, por
Sí,
ejemplo.
ándale.
¿Va a ser menos filo o es igual?
Es más dura, pero si trae buen filo, no importa. O sea,
Ok.
están capacitadas.
Ok. Well, ya yo puse algunos chiles aquí, yo puse los tabletes de cloro
Ajá.
por las cisternas, yo puse aceite de la cocina, yo puse varias cosas para ver qué pasa. Yo puse este es bien chistoso. A mí no debo hacerlo, no sirve por nada.
Sí, nomás es para
Yeah.
hacer
Diversión para una prueba.
así.
Ya, ok, excelente. Voy a caminar por allá un
Sí,
rato.
vamos a continuar ahí después porque me canso de los pies.
Sí.
Pero puedes ir a ver
Sí, yo voy.
cuando quieras.
Excelente. I think I'll do that. The dog, come in here. Come on, dog. Come on. She's also getting better. The little dog Frida, the puppy, is getting better at knowing when to come in the door and when not to. Like she learned this in the other building to kind of ask permission to go in or out. You know, and that's good. In general, she can do what she wants, but she can't actually open the door herself. I don't have a dog door, so. And I do still need to take a shower again. See, I kind of think that if you had a correctly designed lifestyle, right, you wouldn't have to take showers as much. There could be more sauna type things and that sort of stuff. All right. Get out of my pajamas and put on my hardcore shoes here. Let's go check out the space that they are clearing out today. What happens is trails grow over, and I've got a huge project. It's going to be long and hard. Huge, long, and hard. And let me take my notebook here to note ideas and thoughts of how to do this thing. It's a big area called Alicante. I've done other videos touring it. The thing is that it's essentially going to be a big park that is a food forest. Someday, not quite yet. All right, let's run past these bees. Can we do it without getting stung? Probably. All right, don't sting me, fuckers. See, it's up there, you know. It's up at the corner of the building. You can see the old honeycomb up there, right up there. So, looking good out here. It's all got cleared out. We do have to take this pine tree down because it's just going to get bigger and heavier. It's going to fall in this building right here. Doesn't matter, I got tons more. We're going to fall it that direction so it doesn't squish stuff. But with a small team, and when some of that team is injured or you know, not physically strong, it can be difficult. I need a big rope to sling to it, and then we'll pull it in the direction we want. Of course, we can cut it in the direction we want, but why is there fire over here? Seems like it's not totally safe, but that's all right. All right, this trail is getting cut. This is in that special space. It goes way up there. We actually have a dance floor cut up here, which has only been used twice, I believe. It's just a dirt floor. But I know the first time we used it, it was still dusty, but it was still fun. And now it's all grown over. And so the goal will be now to try to clear it out. This is it right here. It's just all full of baby trees, which is actually really cool. You know, all of the places where we cut things down, they just grow right back because we don't cut it all down. We don't clear cut it. We selectively, with certain values in different spots, we cut things out. Here, what we did is for years, we've been cutting pines out of here. And so the oaks are growing more, the madrones are going more. Yeah, they did light a fire out here to get rid of a bunch of branches. They were trying to clear this trail. They did not make it past the dance floor. So they made it about 30% of the way up this trail. We need to go all the way up. We need to recover a trail that goes across it. We need to clear the fire pit down there, make one down there, probably make one right here. I mean, why wouldn't a dance floor also, why couldn't also use a fire? Dance around a fire under the full moon. Sounds pretty fun. So, and then there's actually electric over here as well, which is completely buried in a bunch of branches. So it's difficult. I guess we need to do for the surface of this dance floor or this open area is to fill it with plants which can handle some foot traffic. Because it's never going to get a lot. If it ever got a lot, and maybe I should just do this right away, you know, if I ever got a lot here, then maybe I would want to actually put in tiles and have a little plaza right in here. There was a clean place that was level. You could have a metal chair without the legs sinking into the ground. We could dig all this place over here back, and we started it over here. You can see remnants of digging in a bench type spot. And it was never done fully. I sat on that bench, actually. It did work. But what we have to do is dig it back in further so that people can kind of lean back a little bit. We'll figure out the optimal height and the optimal depth of those as chairs. If we're going to dig it out anyway, it's still worth it for years to dig those out. It's outdoor furniture in an absolutely critical location. And we can also dig out over here. We already started that, and just have more flat spot connected to one place. The nearest toilet is an uphill walk over there. A little far away, but I don't want to put a lot of buildings in here, if any. There might not be any. Or there could be a concrete raised floor on pillars or even dug into slope where that's the place that's underneath. And when we plant the top of it with a whole bunch of stuff so that it is still very natural looking. It's like a hidden cave, really. And we could even make it colored concrete, and we could texture it. I hate to texture things just because I have enough problems with an excess of life everywhere. Like, I mean, when I build something like that, that's going to be open air, it just invites all kinds of animals to live there. If there's enough human activity, then they don't do that as much. Depends on how brave the animal is. But I got some brave animals around here, I'll tell you. All this in here is really exciting. And what's going to happen next then is we have thousands of hours after we clear out the white oaks, the harachina, some trees, it depends. Like these are baby pines, so I like them. But we cut with the bigger ones that were making the soil be covered in pine needles and nothing else could grow. And then we're also using up all the light. So this is a really just intense forest, sculpting of a forest space. I need to improve access in and out of it, across it, so I can concentrate where the people are so they don't stomp it down. But we're going to be doing a lot of digging anyway. We're going to make a lot of terracing, which means we're going to have a bunch of spots with really nice soft dirt that we can plant things in and it'll grow really well. But the upper sides of those will be hard dirt, and those are spots we can either have for human use, or we could restore the soil in that location, and those would be great experiments. We can dump dead wood there, we can dump fungi there, we can dump composted things, we can dump tierra de encino, that's composted oak leaves, and try and control the native plants so that they don't just take over. Right now, this is just crazy amounts of plants. You used to just be able to walk across this, no problem. It was all open. Well, it was under pine trees. But that was the least, like right now, you couldn't just walk through there without getting all scraped up. Hi, Mayhem. Apparently Mayhem can. Well, the dogs know all these short little trails everywhere. So this is just going to be an amazing, intense interaction of humans and a forest, a designed forest, really, for the most part. And overall, the soil's pretty good, but we can easily improve it. And it's a little bit more moist in here. It's just an amazing location. All right, well, that trail is, this new trail, well, it's not new, but the recovered trail is still full of branches and stuff. And I'm really glad that not everything gets cut in here. Because like in a lot of these cases, I want these lower branches. I want to be very careful of who I work with and how, so that they understand the philosophy of why we cut where we do and why we don't. Because every branch is an opportunity that we could accidentally destroy. So, here's some grass I can dump on that fire, make it all smoky. Oh, some of it's even green. That's great. Green grows the grass. How'd that get busted? Oh, I know why. Another reason to have good trails is to encourage people to go on them, and that includes me at this point. I used to walk all over this place quite often. Not everywhere, but lots of places. And now guess what I don't do? That's what I don't do. Okay, bees, stay away from me. This might put this fire out if I dump it on it. But we'll see. Let's try it out. Leave a nice mix of green here. Kind of bundle up. See how that works out. Oh yeah, that's smoky. Not toxic smoke either. But it's going to put the fire out. That's a big problem. I have a fire stick. What I can do is squish this to the side a little bit. Also, it's totally filling up with charcoal and ash. This is a tiny, tiny fire pit. Probably not the appropriate choice, especially without any decent airflow in it. That works out just fine. I'm not real big into burning tons of forest stuff. In the past, before I got here, the forest was used in a different way, and it was cleaned. They say limpiarlo. And yeah, it's got to be annoying for those bees. I do think it's hilarious and a great indicator of people not really understanding very much when people criticize me for doing things like fighting against some form of life, like killing mice even. Some people got pissed off about that. You want to come in? Okay, come in. Thank you. Want to come in? Let's go. Come on. Well, don't come in then. You don't have to. Huh. I also should figure out how to train her to come in when I say to. But that's not going to be today, probably. Wow. That is some smoky shit out there. Oh. I could toss some in this fireplace just for fun. That does sound moderately fun. I don't actually want a ton of smoke in here, but the majority of it's going to go out the chimney anyway. Let's take a look. All right, that's not as smoky as I want because the fire is getting drowned out. See? Yeah, all right, we'll try this inside. I don't really care if some smoke does go inside because even though I'm kind of against it in some sense, I mean, I'm even against using incense inside because it makes dust and all that, but I'm trying to recover the building, and so if it does get inside here, it's just going to piss off some bugs and bats if there are any. I don't know why I haven't seen bats. It's been so hard to get bats out of here. And usually if someone's living here, the bat population goes down to nearly zero, maybe 2-0, I don't know. But if I make more fires, I think that's a huge thing because I also open the door in the morning, which is going to dry out the air, right? It's going to let it cold air in, which is going to suck up any moisture available and bring it outside the house. This is a hotter fire with more air, and so it's actually burning more than it's making smoke. And I should actually read about how to make smoke better. I did try also pouring glycerin onto this fire, which I thought was pretty funny. The glycerin didn't seem to have any effect, but you can use glycerin and potassium permanganate. No, if you mix those two, it just catches on fire. If you use glycerin and distilled water, you can make fog juice that you run through a heating element, and then it creates fog. You would, for example, use a fog machine. Gonna pour some bleach in there and see what happens. I have this bottle of bleach, which I normally would never buy, but it got bought for some reason. Maybe some kind of water